we had talked about the unsaid. Do you guys remember this conversation? I said, guys, what's unsaid, right? You said body language, eye contact, facial expressions, tone, pauses, gestures, feelings, what's implied, right? We just saw some of that. Okay, you guys remember this conversation? Okay, I'm gonna play a video for you, and the video is, it's intentionally silent, and I just want you to see, what do you notice? Okay, what are you noticing?
Not engaging.
What?
He's not very engaging.
He's not engaging. Okay, what else? Deep breathing.
Not confident.
Not confident. What else? Nervous. We're going to show another video. Same exercise. What do you notice? What do you notice how you feel? Okay. The intention of this exercise is to see if you can notice the unsaid and notice the, it's not to have a perfect comparison, just to show an example of unsaid, of what can you see, here's one version of an unsaid, here's another version of an unsaid, okay? It isn't a fair comparison. I mean, this is probably one of the, if not the greatest orator we've ever had in this country, you know? And, you know, so this is masterful virtuoso. But I want you to see, the intention is so you can start seeing the power of the unsaid. Oftentimes, we go to work and we communicate with each other and we focus on the factual information. We focus on getting it right, getting the information right. And the reality is that you had two people who was sharing information. If we had a computer observe these, they could write up the transcripts, okay? Information is being transmitted, okay? And for an information, you can do zeros and ones, and it does, like for a computer, it doesn't really matter if it's a 0 or a 1. Like it doesn't impact the computer. Sometimes we'll communicate, and we're so focused on getting it technically right, the information right, that we will go up and we'll act like a robot. Well, the importance of this 4-point Sheridan thing is that the enterprise system is really critically important. And we're doing this, and we're not recognizing that half or more of the power is in the unsaid. You know, 70 to 90% of what people are taking away isn't what you say, it's what? It's how you say it, right? If he had said the same thing, you know, and I don't know, this isn't his I Have a Dream speech, it's a different speech, but if he had said his same speech and said, you know, I fundamentally believe that it's really important that we, you know, get together as, the impact would be completely different, yes? Totally different, okay? So I want you to start observing yourself when you're communicating. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the said? Are you focusing on the unsaid? Are you connected to the fundamental why? Are you disconnected? Someone said, he seemed very connected, and I felt connected to him. He believed in what he said, and he was connected to his fundamental why. And we want to suggest that's actually the energy source for influencing. A lot of the conversations that you said earlier was, how do we influence? How do we influence when we don't have authority? Right? Did Martin Luther King have authority? Did he have a political position? Was he a senator? Was he a, you know, army official? Was he a president? You know, he didn't have a title. I mean, he was a reverend and a doctor, you know, but he wasn't appointed. He didn't have authority. Did the authorities support him? Was the police force behind him? Was the president behind him? Was this, you know, a lot of the people in power were very threatened by actually what he said. It was actually very threatening. So he didn't have a lot of support, and he still was able to influence. Do you guys remember when you guys drew a picture on the first day with us? And we were saying it's a little different, and Justin was talking about the different parts of the brain, right? There's the logical, analytical, which is great. And there's kind of the more intuitive, the creative, the A to Z, right? And both are important. And as leaders, you actually want to be able to use both spheres. Like when you need analysis, go to analysis. When you need creativity, go to the other side. Part of being able to speak, where you can influence across company, across function, you can influence up, is actually being connected to like the core reactors. In a nuclear power plant, they have these, they're called fuel rods, and like they put them in the core of the plant, and it produces a huge amount of energy. And when someone is connected to fundamental why, it's like those fuel rods, and it animates them very powerfully. And oftentimes we're not really connected to what animates us. We're connected to like a rod that's fear. There's fear involved, and so we're mostly then, when we're communicating, we're expressing fear, we're expressing busyness, because we're not connected with anything bigger. And it's like a smaller, much less powerful fuel rod, if it's fear or if it's busyness. So if you're really connected with what matters to you, your ability to influence and change people is much stronger.
We can feel when someone is coming from the fundamental why. When someone is speaking from their fundamental why, I think AJ was doing that as well. I think that speaking from the fundamental why is what causes real movement to happen. It's what really causes a movement of people to follow a leader. The closer that you're connected, not just intellectually, like you got some good notes, but that you actually are feeling fundamentally, why are you doing this? Why are you here? Really fundamentally, what moves you? The more close to that source, the more that this will be felt. Without having to say anything. And when you do speak, it becomes genuine. It's authentic. It's not coming from, here, someone is wrong, I'm right. It's coming from, I'm going to speak this because I see it as true. I see this is what I see. And this is a movement of the why through you rather than just a kind of a nice idea. This is the power of the fundamental why being expressed. You don't even need to hear the words.